Hello. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for checking out my page. I wanted to come on and discuss hidden motives in the eighth house and how the sign Scorpio, planets in the sign Scorpios, especially Venus, the moon, Saturn, and how these planets are not apparent initially and how over time certain motives are revealed. A little transparency. So I have my Venus in Scorpio as well as my midheaven. My Pluto is conjunct Venus, all in Scorpio. I have my Sun is in Libra in the eighth house. So I have a lot of this energy resonance in my chart. And this energy is hidden from us. Okay? So the eighth house is energy that's hidden from you, things that you're unaware of, that become revealed over time. So whenever you come into contact with someone and they have eighth house, you share eighth house synastry with them. When you have hidden planets like the moon or planets such as even Jupiter is a benefic. However, with certain aspects such as like to Pluto or Mars, Jupiter can be detrimental too, in terms of a person being able to hide their motives and things where you won't be able to see certain intentions. And intentions are very important because when they're hidden, it's hard to tell and it's hard to perceive. And even when you have exceptional discernment, depending on how old you are and the time period of your life and what you're going through, people, you can be deceived. And this eighth house synastry deals with that. It deals with deception and is very serious. I don't really think that the eighth house gets the coverage, the actual pain that's involved with aspects to the eighth house. When you have people with malefics in their eighth house or aspects of the eighth house, Pluto, harsh Pluto, Martian, Saturn aspects. These are aspects that are deadly. They could be deadly. These are placements that could have you where you lose everything. I'm speaking from firsthand experience. So people are able to hide things from you easily. And I honestly feel like it's worse than the 10th house. I mean, excuse me, not the 10th, but the 12th house, because to be honest with you, the 12th house, it's a bit more innocent. Um, it's a bit more innocent. With the 8th house is very insidious. It really is. And it's just really, it's not for, such as with the 12th house, it's overgiven. It's just from a space of giving and openness and being. The 8th house is really from a space of covert, deep psychological manipulation. And it is so um, destructive because over time, as these motives or the outcome is revealed, the degree of pain and turmoil that must be overcome in order for individuals to let go and move to a new space is hard. It requires so much resilience and inner resolve to forgive things such as betrayal. Someone spending up money that's been saved over time, or someone going behind your back and just betraying you in so many different ways, just so many different ways that the eighth house plays out. That it requires so much internal work to overcome so that you're not forever damaged. Some of these trespasses that are done against individuals with this type of synastry, some never overcome it. That's how deep it is. That's how painful these aspects are. Individuals hiding secrets and just doing all kinds of stuff for their own benefit, where the interest isn't mutual. Um, so it's really powerful to understand the synastry, the eighth house synastry, aspects to the eighth house. If you have planets already in your 12th house or your eighth house, some of these shadow aspects, it's so vital to do the necessary work individually so that the discernment is on point, but so that you can protect yourself, because it's so painful and it's so much better to protect yourself than to have to go through the process of forgiveness and letting go and just that potential danger, because it's dangerous. It can get very dangerous in the eighth house. It's not for the lightweight. A lot of people, I've come across a lot of people that are like, oh, I love eighth house synastry and all the chemistry, all of this. Man, that chemistry is not worth losing everything, including your mind, your well-being, your mental health, your emotional well-being. I don't care how many butterflies a person or passion that a person brings into your life. If they're taking so much away from you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I remember years ago, one of my counselors, she told me, she was like, when you were raised in neglect or trauma and environments such as that, when you start getting those butterflies and feelings like that, that's not healthy. It's not healthy. That intense chemistry is it's not healthy. Because a lot of times an individual may think that person is desiring them, but they're not knowing that the person is actually desiring something that they have. It's not you. It's something that you have. And this is where that possessiveness come in, because that person is seeing something that you have as if it's theirs. And this is how insidious and just horrible the eighth house synastry can be, where you could have built something on your own and put in the work and earn something. And an individual thinks they meet you and you think that it's you that they care about, what is really only what you have is what they care about. And in my case, it could be where a person is just with you and you build with the person, because it's also about mutual resources. And you could partner up with someone and y'all build something great. And once that is built, the individual betrays you. And, it's hard to tell what belongs to who and all these things. And a person can just try to take claim over everything and not give you any credit, depending on how you build and the paperwork involved. And it gets really deep, man. With the eighth house, you have to protect yourself out here. And make sure that when you go through those set of seventh house transits, that you're reading over contracts well. And you really, when Mars goes through the seventh house, you really are trusting that when you're seeing hidden motives and intentions, and be observant, pardon me, so that you're not just going into situations gullible, and naive, and you're thinking that people not out for them. And this is what certain planets, when they come into the eighth house, allows us to see. When Mars comes into the eighth house with the sun, and just different transits that were, especially when Saturn transits into the eighth house. It's like being able to see things for what they truly are, even yourself, when you ain't shit, honestly, and you come into a situation where you thought that you were like one way, but you deceive yourself, because that happens a lot with Neptune conjunctions, especially the sun. Not Neptune opposite, but when you have Neptune conjunct the sun, a lot of times you don't even realize how much of a deceptive individual you are. But I'm getting off topic now. This was about eighth house stuff and how, like, man, it can land you in prison 6 feet under. The eighth house synastry is no joke. Like, don't let these astrologers bamboozle you. Like, it's so passionate and all these things. Ooh, the sex is so great. Man, that person just want what you got. And that person is willing to do anything to take what's yours as if they're theirs. As if it's theirs. Like they went out and put in that time and effort. That person is willing to take what you and them have built to go try it and meet someone, after the building is done, to go share what y'all built with someone else. Like, that's some deep shit right there. Eighth house ain't no joke. I have the sun in the eighth house. I have Venus in Scorpio in the 10th. Like, this is just, I know you know what I'm talking about. It's no joke. But anywho, I just wanted to share this information. Take care.